Hello everyone and welcome to another approach tutorial. Today we are in the Zibo mod 737 instead of the Tolis, just a little change. Uh, it's an approach that I've done just a few weeks ago, and this is going to be into Nice. Well, a very famous approach in the south of France. Now let's have a look at what we'll be doing. Let me show you where we're going. There we go. So as you can see here from the chart, I've just done a flight from Nantes in the northwest of France, coming down all the way into Nice in the Mediterranean. If you're not familiar with the airport, we're here in the south of France. It's very famous airport, really nice approaches. A couple of considerations: it's in a bay over here, and so the approach straight into the runway would go over the city here and over Cannes and this populated area over here as well. So straight in approaches are avoided as much as possible. There are a couple of different procedures coming in for runway 04, left or right, or runway 22 that avoid this populated area. As you can see, one is drawn over here. It is less common. The more common approach is to runway 04, which is always preferable. There's also prevailing winds favorable, but up to a few knots of tailwind, 04 is normally what is in use at the airport. Today I'm going to do the runway 22 right because I just like it a little bit more, even though it's less common. I like it a little bit more. Also, for runway 04, there's plenty of tutorials and videos showing it. Runway 22 is a lot more rare, so I thought I'd do runway 22 right for today. We are already on the arrival on the star, which is in this case is the Nisa 7 Tango. If you want to do the flight, this is normally the arrival that we use. The arrival ends at the NDB here, MUS, so Mike Uniform Sierra. After this, there is an actual vectoring. So if you go onto your Jefferson charts here, you have the initial approach for all the runways is here, initial approach, and it's from MUS, it's just a vector straight east heading 090. After that, we'll have the RNAV procedure. So the first part of the procedure is an RNAV approach that you can see here. So it will be flown completely automatic by the plane. It goes on to SOTOX, so the vectoring goes 090, and then we need to direct ourselves to SOTOX. In the FMS there will be a discontinuity, but we'll clear that and we'll direct ourselves to SOTOX. After this RNAV procedure that ends over here, then we'll need to do a visual procedure, which we see here is the VPT delta. So the initial approach is RNP delta, 22 left or right, final approach. So the chart's 12-6, and the final procedure is the VPT delta 22 left or right, which is the 12-6 Bravo, and that's going to be a final visual turn. But let's go and see how it looks in the plane. There we are, we're descending on profile. We are, that makes it a little bit confusing. Let's see if we can get rid of that and get rid of that so we don't have all that cluttering. Perfect. So we're obeying certain constraints. Let's have a look at the charts for today. So the charts we're going to need, we said, is the 10-2 alpha, that's the arrival. We have the 12-6, which is the RNAV approach, 12-6 Bravo, which is going to be the visual, and then 10-9, which is our airport. Just to have a look through the charts and comparing them with what we have here on the plane. Now, if we go on to plan view, we go on to our legs page. We are now at AMFO. AMFO, we need to be below 160, and that's coded there. We can see magenta, so that's the one that we're obeying now. We're descending towards that. We then have typic at 250 knots, and we have that below 250, and at flight level 120, and that's enter there 120. After that, Mike Uniform Sierra above flight level 80, and we're planning to be still at 120, because after that the next point is going to be Sotos. So here we don't need anything else in terms of information. You can have a look at the approach chart. Over here, the next point is going to be Sotos, so the first point of the RNAV procedure. At Sotos, we need to be at 5,000 feet. So we have from Mus, which is round about over here, we need to do 7,000 feet. And the classic rule of 3, that means we need 21 miles, but we have 40 miles between Mus and Sotos. So that's why we don't start the descent straight away. At Sotos will be at 5,000 feet. Then we go on to Nanax, and we have, let's see, Sotos, and then Nanax at above 3,000, so 3,000 or above, and that's coded here in the FMS. And then we'll go on to the FN, so Foxtrot November 22 Delta, which is the actual start of the final descent. And there will be at 3,000 feet. So that's checked, 3,000 feet on speed to start descending. It's very important on all these procedures in Tunis. It's very important to decelerate early. You want to be fully configured before the final turn. That means that you need to slow down a little more than you normally would. So we have a constraint at 200 knots maximum in Nanax, but let's have a look at what's happening now. Thing is, Nanax is saying 3,000 or above. If we delete those constraints, it's going to tell us exactly at what altitude it plans to be. So the FMS program being there at 4,000 feet. Now that could be a problem, because Nanax 4,000 feet, and then at the final point, from Nanax to the final point, we're planning to lose 1,000 feet, but we have 3 miles, which is exactly what we need to lose 1,000 feet. That means that we won't be able to slow down in clean configuration, so we'll need to start putting flaps down as early probably as Sotos to start decelerating towards the 200, and then to make sure that we decelerate from 200 here at Nanax to 157 at Foxtrot November 22 Delta. So we'll probably put flaps 5 around Sotos, start decelerating towards 200, and then between Nanax and the final point over here, we'll put gear down and flaps 15. Because after that, at the final point, we will start a glide path in VNAV, so that will be all automatic. We will start a glide path of 3 degrees. We need to lose 1,750, and we have 6 miles to do that. In 6 miles we could lose 2,000 feet, and we're losing only 1,750, so that's good. We'll be able to lose a little bit of speed in this part. Then as we go down, this is going to be the MDA. So we reach the MDA at the missed approach point, which is Mike November 22 Delta. It is an MDA, so remember, an ILS has a DA, which is a decision altitude, which means that that altitude you decide what to do, whether to continue or go around, while this is a non-precision approach, so this is an MDA, which means it's a minimum decision altitude. We cannot go below that. So most airlines will add a margin to that. We'll add 50 feet today, so we'll decide that our MDA is 1310, and we can set it now here, and let's put 1310, and we have our MDA here. Now let's check what we're doing. And most, we should have been at 12,000, and we are descending. That's strange because the plane knows it's is below profile by a big chunk, but it's fine. We level off at 10,000 and we'll continue at 10,000 until we are closer to SOTOX. There we are. Then the plan, as we were checking here, as we said, we're gonna be descending from Foxtrot November 2 to Delta with gear down and flaps 15, and we'll want to be fully configured before we deactivate the autopilot. So this is going to be the map signal by the M. That's the missed approach point. That's the point where we would be going around if we were not visual. Today we will be visual because it's lovely weather out there. We can look out the window and we'll definitely be visual. So we need to make sure that we deactivate the autopilot before this point, otherwise the plane will go automatically on the missed approach procedure and will follow this guidance. So we need to make sure that before the map over here will go manual. We'll level off at 1260 over here, and we can continue with the last chart. So from Mike November 2 to Delta, you can see all the arrows. That means that it's all visual and manually flown. So we'll fly on a heading of 303 at an altitude of 1,000 feet until we intercept the Puppies with a glide slope of 3.5 degree. There will be guidance shown on the PFD. I don't know if that's true to reality, but the Zibo shows a certain guidance. So that's definitely going to be helpful to intercept the final turn. The important part of this procedure is that under no circumstances you should ever be above land. You need to be above the water, straddling the beach, but we need to be above water. And the visual procedure takes into consideration these points over here. You're always above the water, close to the lighthouse over here, and close to this little peninsula over here. Then we'll turn on to final, intercept the Puppies, have a look at the Puppies, and then descend according to the Puppies onto the runway. Puppies in reality are offset 5 degrees, you can see here from the runway center line. That means that the Puppies are not looking straight down the runway, but they're looking slightly over here. So of course you can intercept them a little bit earlier. The only things that we need to remember is all this missed approach procedure, because if we have any problem, if we were unstable, we would need to do the second missed approach procedure, which is over here. Climb straight ahead to 3000 and then expect a left turn from ATC. We won't be on ATC, but if we have any problem and we go around, go straight ahead and then we'll turn left onto the sea. Missed approach procedure is, missed approach altitude is going to be 3000 feet. And the final course is going to be 223. So 303 before the turn and 223 after the turn. After that, we'll land on 22 right. It's 2,600 meters, so I put auto brake 2. That should be plenty. And we will vacate ideally via Charlie 1. Come back by uniform Foxtrot and then go to gate over here to this terminal. There we are, everything is there. We have everything loaded. The approach speed is already entered. Let's double check. We need to burn 0.4. So we'll put 61.2 should be the final weight, and that makes for 136 final approach speed plus 5, so that's going to be 141. The numbers we need to remember are 3000 missed approach procedure, 223 the final heading, and then 141 is the approach speed. So as we said, we are now on the vector. Shortly we redirect ourselves to SOTOX. At any point, even when planning the flight in the first instance, you can remove the vector and stitch together MUS and SOTOX, but it will be quite a sharp turn if you did it early. So I'll do a little bit later. So if we start turning here, we'll have a less sharp turn at SOTOX. SOTOX now is at 20 miles. We need to lose 5,000 feet. So yeah, around about time to descend. So let's clear ourselves to 3,000 feet. I guess we can do it direct to SOTOX now. So click on SOTOX, put it on top. It draws the white dotted line. We execute that. And we're good. At this point, we're not as high as it was saying. We need to lose 5,000 in 20 miles, so we're good. Below 10,000 feet, let's seat the passengers. Let's turn the landing lights and the runway turn off. On. Approach altitude, altimeters and instruments. Altimeters will set them shortly. There we are. FNC speed, LNAV and VNAV path. We don't need any approach aids because it's all RNAV, so we don't need to tune any radio or anything. Are picking up a little bit of speed, so just hull spoilers to keep that under check. We confirm we have here the RNAV 22 right delta, LNAV, VNAV, so that's all good. Deceleration point is over here. We'll help ourselves, as we said, with flaps. Probably we'll put flaps 5, up to flaps 5 before SOTOX. Then we said we want to be after Nanax with gear down and flaps 15. Let's get the QNH. The QNH is currently 1014, so we can set that. 1014. And that's set 3 times and cross-checked. Keep checking the profile and the speed, making sure that we're all good as we expect it to be. And now just before SOTOX, let's use a little bit of spoilers to be below 250, so we can put up to flaps 5. Deceleration point, you can see the bug has gone from 250 to the outspeed. We can put flaps 5 now. And now we're targeting 3,000 feet at the final fix. The plane will do everything vertical and lateral absolutely automatic, being an RNAV procedure. Just need to make sure that we put it in a good condition to do that. So checking the speed and the energy state. We're targeting 3,000, so let's put 1,200, so we're sure we can continue below 3,000 down to the MDA. You can keep the speed up to 190 now. There's no need to decelerate already that slow. Okay, let's start slowing down towards the flat size speed. Final fix is 2.5 miles. We can start going gear down now and flat 15. Match the speed, so set the back at the flat 15 speed. High workload, so let's try and do as much as we can now. So we'll put already the engine start to continuous. Pretend we're already clear to land, even though it will be not until later, so we can get all the lights are on. The gear is down, the green lights, the auto brake is there. Recall and we're good. So landing check light, start switches are continuous, recall is check, speed brake. We can arm it now, we're not going to use it anymore, so let's arm it, and we have green light. Landing gear is down, 3 greens, auto brake is set to 2 flaps. For now 15. We are now on the final descent. So you can see we knew we were going to level off for just a little bit, and then we're back onto profile, and we're now descending. As you can see now on the descent page, we have 1260 that we're targeting now. And at this point, well, I believe in reality you would do flats full once on the final part of the visual procedure, but we don't have another pilot to do that for us, so we'll do that now. We'll go flats full. We said speed was going to be 141. Yeah, 141. There we go, and we have landing lights on and the flaps 40 selected and the green lights. See if you can see the runway. There's the airport. That's where we're going. Okay, 1 mile from the final point. I say we can go manual now. Let's disconnect the auto thrust, disconnect the autopilot, cancel the flight directors, and we're going manual. Keep descending to the MDA. Let's set a missed approach altitude 3000 feet, final heading 223.
Approaching minimums.
We're on minimum now,
Minimums.
and with visual, we continue. Continue descending to 1000. Then we keep following this guidance. We have the diamonds here, so especially for the glide path, that's very useful.
1000.
Make sure we don't fly over buildings, so we just follow the beach, the curve of the beach. We have as well here the ND to help us out with extend the center line. Slightly low. In reality, at this point, we should be already seeing the puppies, but we need to wait a little bit longer now. There we are, 1 white, 3 red. We're good. Two white, 2 red.
500.
500, we are stable.
400. 300.
1000 feet per minute, not more than that.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Last idle.
10.
Hold their attitude. There we go, a little bit of a float, but no, it's good. Reverse the green. Auto brake doing its job.
80 knots.
Reverse and idle. We can do manual braking. And we've made it. Welcome to Nice. Store the reversers and we vacate here. Store the spoilers. Flats can come up. Set, we're turning here right. Landing lights off. Strobe can go to steady. Star switch is to off. Let's start the APU. Probe off. Oops, it looks like we didn't see the cabin crew. Hey, speaking of workload. And transponder to alt off. Cancel with the radar. And that's a rain on this one. Perfect, so we're gonna taxi via uniform. Yeah, and as we said, then left onto Foxtrot. And we'll go to the terminal. And have a look at the replay. Wasn't the cleanest landing ever, but after flying the Tollies for so many months, it is a challenge, definitely, landing the Boeing. APU is on. And I have to say though, as much as I absolutely love the Tollies, the fact that the freeware is as good as the Tollies, it's credit to Zibo in a way. Like, I know what everybody says it, but it's just beyond belief that we have such a good quality free resource. Absolutely unbelievable. There we go. So the brake is now on and we can turn the engines off. Engines coming off. Spooling down. We can go with these cabin crew and the passengers, and we go anti-collision off. Perfect. There we are. So welcome to the beautiful Nice. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Procedure wise, definitely I'm not as good in the Boeing as well. I don't have the knowledge of the Boeing that I have on the Airbus. But so if you have any comments, especially that there's so many really proficient Zibo pilots out there, please do let me know if you have any comments or if you spotted any mistakes or anything. I'm looking forward to get back onto the swing of things with the 737 if you liked it, and if anybody's interested in other approaches, I might do some more in the Zibo. It would be fun. It's a lot more challenging to land and to manual fly than the Airbus, so I might give it a go. But as usual, thank you very much for joining me. Let's have a look at the replays, but I will say bye now, and I hope I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye again.